looking under the hood strategy really is just that. It's all about looking under the hood of a site before you actually would go out there and acquire it. So here's an example, and Chris, maybe you want to describe this one too.
Sure. So the concept of looking under the hood with a site is really different from what we've actually taught in the past. And what we've taught in the past is kind of this concept of the cold call email, where you just go out there and you find potential acquisitions and you just email them and say, hey, I want to buy your site. Well, the challenge with that is that people are, one, very skeptical, and two, a lot of times very guarded. Three is that they just don't believe you, so they never get back to you. So instead of just kind of going out there, the equivalent of spamming these cold call potential acquisition emails, why not look at it from a perspective of, well, how can we develop a relationship with these websites and actually learn something about them without ever even talking to the person about the acquisition? And one of the ways that we've figured out, which is a great tool for you, is to actually go out and ask people if you can advertise on their website. We found a pretty good response rate from people. If you just simply say, hey, I'm interested in advertising on your website, what's your rates, that kind of thing. And then at some point, along the way, you get to see what their traffic does for your website. And so if you're taking advertising from these websites, you'll be able to see if it converts for the products that you offer, the affiliate programs, e-commerce, whatever your business model is behind that. You actually get to test that traffic out, typically with a pretty low investment before ever actually having to take a risk on acquiring that site. And so if you look at the steps here on the slide, number one is going out and identifying potential acquisitions. You're probably already doing that as part of your cold call system. And then instead of just jumping right to offer to purchase, you offer to place advertising on that website. And then you monitor that traffic to make sure it's actually profitable for you. If it's not profitable, it doesn't really, well, it may or may not make sense for you to actually go out and try to acquire that. But if it is really good quality traffic and it's going to support your hub, then you go out and you start developing a relationship with this owner, actually talking to them about scaling up advertising, or even find out a little bit more about what they're doing with the website to drive traffic. So you can start digging in a little bit. And then at some point along the way, you actually offer to purchase. There's a lot more work here, but from a strategic perspective, it makes a lot more sense. It really reduces your risk of not knowing what's going to happen with that traffic when you acquire it, if you're using this sort of hub strategy. And this was something that actually a couple of emails that was sent to us on one of our sites and kind of tipped us off to this. A person emailed us wanting to place some content or some advertising on one of our websites, and these are the exact emails that he sent. I'm not crazy about the way he went about it, because it was just like, number one, get us interested in advertising. I emailed him back and let him know, yeah, we'd be interested. And then his next thing was, oh, I talked to my client, and they'd actually be more interested in buying the site than advertising on it. So it was a little bit of a bait and switch without the relationship development process that kind of goes along with what we recommend. But it was very effective. I mean, we got our attention and we got the conversation started before we even started talking about having us sell the site. So I think that that can be used in a lot of different ways. And then another cool tool that you can use is the Google AdWords placement tool. So instead of actually having to go out and do this kind of cold calling process, you can actually just advertise directly on sites that are using AdSense already, that are monetized with AdSense. You can use Google's AdWords placement tool, set up a campaign just for that website, whatever the website is that you're looking to acquire, and or there may be several. You may actually be able to pull up several sites just through this AdWords placement tool that would be good potential acquisitions for you, and you basically track to see what the traffic does on each of these using your conversion tracking and all that kind of stuff to find out how good that traffic is converting for you, and those become your kind of your acquisition targets. So pretty cool tool. Definitely would recommend at least checking it out and seeing what's out there in your market of websites that are utilizing AdSense, and can even get a sense of what how much traffic these different websites are getting. Google will tell you impressions per day and those kinds of things. The other one is buysell.ads.com. They also have a marketplace where you can search for specific terms to find out who is accepting advertising. So just a whole other way that you can advertise directly on these websites without ever actually having to start the conversation with somebody. It can just be a quick way to find out if that traffic converts and if it's a potential acquisition for you. So that's useful. Anything you'd add to what I mentioned, David?
No, I think it's exactly the kind of system that we're moving towards, and I think it's obviously more advanced than what a lot of people are doing out there in terms of just going directly to, let's say, flippa.com and sorting through a bunch of different websites hoping to find one. The whole idea is to find sites that aren't necessarily out there for sale immediately, and you're in a bidding war or in a time crunch to go buy something. And the more time you have to look over something, the more time you have to build a relationship with the other owner, the more likely they're going to be able to work with you even after the sale, which to me is a big one too, because things always come up, and it's always nice to be able to communicate with somebody after a sale. And those that we've built relationships with, I can send an email to every once in a while and just ask, hey, what happened on this site? I noticed you did this. Did that change for you or whatever? And the conversations are still there. So this is a great strategy for that. And